wonderful world of entomology and bringing you along with me. So if you don't already, make sure you like this broadcast and subscribe and follow and share with any of your bug loving or insect curious friends. And if you have requests, you can let me know in the chat as well. Welcome back. Hi, Martin. Hi, Zach. How's it going? Hope you guys are well. So here's a restart. This is not a rerun. Martin, to answer your question, this is a restart because the last broadcast froze. There was a connection problem. Maybe I was too far from the house and I lost Wi-Fi connection, but now I'm broadcasting just from my cellular service on my phone. So hopefully this works. Yeah. Camila, hello, welcome to the broadcast. Dave says much better now. Really? Good. Yeah, it looks like a fake virtual background, but it's real, guys. It's real, which is pretty cool. Like, I touched a plant because it's a real background. Yay! Hi, Eddie. How's it going? Although this is not, this is a honeysuckle plant, which smells amazing, but I don't believe it's a native. So. But honeysuckle is like one of my favorite smells in the whole entire world. So. Virtual leaves. It looks real, but is it? I wish you guys could smell it too. Take a deep breath. Yeah, I'm sorry about the dogs. Hopefully they'll forget about me. But Annie says sound effects for real, right? Cue the dogs. Yeah. I missed a comment back here. Hi Brett, how's it going? Do I use Twitter Live? Well, I'm hoping to also broadcast over to Twitter Live from here, but I'm not sure exactly. I don't really understand that Twitter Live yet, to tell the truth. Hi, Blue Velvet over in Ohio. Yeah, exactly, the Med. The dogs are loving, they're cheering, they're like, yes, the bug scope, my favorite time of year when Issa visits Georgia. So yeah, totally. Thanks for interpreting that for us. Yeah, how you guys doing? Find any interesting insects? Oh yeah, Trevor sent me some cool insect nests, which I will share the next time I do a broadcast from my computer because I am not able to do that when I'm broadcasting from my phone. But that's something that I'm looking forward to introducing onto the Bugscope. Sorry, I took a little mini break there to smell honeysuckles. Spring. I'm gonna start sharing photos that people send me for insect IDs, and I think that will be fun to do on the broadcast with permission, of course. Welcome back, David. Hello. Hello, Linda. Yes. Oh, Andy said I just got told to update this app, BRB. Yes, they're making awesome updates on HAPS from week to week, even day to day sometimes. I just updated the app today as well. Yeah, I think I have to figure out the Twitter connection thing because I did select Twitter, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still learning about how to navigate the new platform. So yeah, hope you guys are doing well. When you multicast to Twitter Live, people can watch you on the Periscope app. So yeah, so maybe you can teach me about this because last time I selected Periscope when I live streamed too. Hi Brett, thanks for the award, the appreciate award. I appreciate it. The update took me 10 seconds. Yeah, it's a really fast update, which is awesome. Eddie also updated. Yeah. Exciting times, perhaps. Lots of growth and changes, and it's really super. Yeah, last time I tried to broadcast to Periscope too, which was a couple of days ago on Tuesday, it said that that API was shut down. So still figuring out the navigation of the new situations. Okay, so when do butterflies arrive? Asks Dave. Yeah, if you want to ask spring questions, you can ask me spring questions, and then I'll share the namesake of for the title, that insect here. I'm visiting family in Georgia. I'm based these days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm from Philadelphia. And right now, If you're looking for spring butterflies in North America, keep an eye out for the mourning cloak. That's one of the first ones that arrived. They've definitely been out for a bunch of weeks now. They might still be out. I'm not sure exactly how long they're out for. And yeah, so I'm in Georgia right now, but right by Atlanta, Georgia. And so spring has progressed a lot more than it has in Michigan. But soon Michigan will be looking like this too, more or less. All right. Hopefully the dogs will settle down over there. Sorry if it's really loud. When I listened to a little bit of the replay from the last broadcast, I was like, whoa, those dogs sounded like they were right next to me, like beside me in arm's reach. Big improvement. What are you noticing, Andy, with the update? Trevor says it was 81 here yesterday. Yeah, actually today I looked at the calendar and it was warmer in Michigan than it was here. Give that dog a bone. Yeah, for reals. Okay, I found something else to look at, so that's good. Oh no, Terrence says, is it frozen and no sound for everyone? Abyss says, hello from Nashville. Oh, I was just in Tennessee this past weekend. Beautiful place. South Cumberland State Park is where I was. David Howden's giving the report for Europe, saying butterflies have started up here in the UK. The official monitoring scheme started on April 1st. Make sure you guys go follow David as he gives nice tours around checking out the insects in the area and at the natural areas up where he lives. Yeah, doing well. Yeah, so I don't know when it stopped showing for you guys for the last broadcast, and also I know we have some new people here now, so I'll do the full cap of our guest here. So here we are. Our special guest today is an assassin bug in the insect order Hemiptera, hemi meaning half, ptera meaning winged. And so that refers to how on their backs, every insect, the general body plan is 2 pairs of wings, or 4 wings total. But for some, that's modified. Like with flies, which are Diptera, di is 2, ptera means winged, they just have 1 pair of wings. The second pair of wings is modified to be little nubs that are called halteres. And then with beetles, the front pair of wings, think of a ladybug, are modified to be these hardened, what we call elytra, or hardened like shells, very hard protective structures to protect the hind wings, which allows them to burrow and squeeze into tight spaces without damaging their wings. So they're still able to use that wonderful ability they have to fly and disperse and oh wow, I just found another one. So these are decently common. I just found another one right now. I'll leave it so we can look at it in its natural habitat. How about that? Yeah, so this is Hemiptera half-winged. Stink bugs are half-winged Hemiptera. They have an X on their back, and that's one way you can distinguish and identify a hemipteran, or a true bug is what we call the common name. So for Lepidoptera, for example, another order in the insect class, Lepidoptera, the common name is butterfly moth skippers. And then Coleoptera is another order in the insect world, in the tree of life, and that common name is beetles. And then Odonata is for dragonflies and damselflies, and then Hemiptera, which this is true bugs, half-winged true bugs. And so what we have here is an assassin bug. It has a pointy, stabby mouth part that it stabs into things. It injects enzymes, which means if they ever were to bite you, like it wouldn't be very pleasant, but also you're not their prey, so don't worry about that too much. Whoa, noisy tree. Trying to find a good stick to put this guy on to show you. Let's see. Maybe this ivy root. No, maybe this leaf over here. Yeah, I'll use this leaf. Okay. So some use the pointy, stabby mouth part. Some hemipterans or true bugs use the pointy, stabby mouth part for eating plants, like aphids or cicadas. They stab their mouth part into a plant and suck up all the juices. Others use their mouth part to stab into another insect or other invertebrate, and they send in enzymes to help break it down and to like venom to paralyze it, and then they'll slurp them up too. So the trees are talking. Yeah, the dog stopped barking, but the trees started talking. um, is this going to be a big year for cicadas? It's a big year for the bugs, yes, because the cicada emergence is happening in northeastern USA. Brood 10 is coming out. I'm talking with a reporter about it tomorrow morning, actually. He says eagle eye bug sighting. Oops. Okay, let's look at it close up for those of you who haven't seen it yet. So here's our little friend with the sticky legs. So most assassin bugs, they just have their stabby mouth part and they'll sneak up and stab into their prey. Like some stink bugs are omnivorous, some are herbivores, some are omnivorous, some are fully predatory. My screen just got darker. You know what? I wonder if my macro clip is affecting the connection. Hopefully not, but here's our little friend. And so what's special about this, the pale green assassin bug, is that its front legs are sticky. It has a stickiness on its front legs that it uses to help catch its prey. You can kind of see that hairy look on the outline. And you can see it has its legs wide open, maybe to help increase the surface area of its catching circumference or radius. And it blends in with its surroundings pretty well with that green coloration. Here it's a little closer and I think more in focus now for you. Really long antenna too, probably because it navigates on bushes and between leaves and in some trees. Although I don't know how high up in the canopy they go, but I have seen them in some lower trees. And usually I do see them in bushes when I do encounter them. So phone might be overheating, especially if you're in the sun. It seems like it's okay. I'm in the shade right now. So hopefully here, I'll flip the camera and we can use the back camera too. How can you tell the difference between males and females? For these, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Although I guess if you keep it long enough, the female will be the one laying the eggs. But I know that's not a great answer. Dion over on Facebook, hello, says awesome assassin bugs are super cool in South Africa. They often attack millipedes, which is pretty amazing because millipedes are poisonous. Yeah, that is rather amazing. Many millipedes do have chemical defenses that they secrete, including some that have cyanide. And yeah, that's impressive that they're able to tolerate that. And also, millipedes tend to have a pretty tough exoskeleton too. Blue Velvet had a tick on me yesterday. Well, make sure you save it. Send me a picture because we're having. If you haven't already, I just updated the BugScope schedule. We have a bunch of guests coming up this upcoming April. So the website is thebugandthebeetle.net/bugscope-schedule. I think that's it. Or you can check for the links in my bio. And yeah, Camila says, I think you need to check the genitalia to know if it's a male or a female. That's true. And usually you can't check that until they're an adult. And this one is still a nymph. So we might not even be able to tell until it's older, which tends to be a big challenge in entomology. Is if I were to collect this specimen and bring it into the museum, because for those of you who are not familiar, I work at the Academy of Natural Sciences with the entomology collection there, and we have over like 4 million insect specimens collected over the last 200 years that are used for scientific study. And sometimes juvenile insects are not as helpful because they can be harder to, well, sometimes you can't tell whether they're male or female because the right parts, those bits have not developed yet. But then sometimes it's tricky with larvae because we don't even know what the adult is yet. There's a lot of adult insects that we still don't know what the larval form or caterpillar or grub form is. So, high five, Peter. Thanks for the high five award. And thanks for subscribing, Nello. Hello, Mike. How are you doing today? Oh yeah, so I brought up the tick thing, Blue Velvet, because I'm bringing on a tick expert on May 4th, and you can get more information on my schedule, which is in my HAPS bio. Also, thanks to the Super Heart, David. Oh, I see what you're saying, Andy. I missed the meds comment about the macro lens covering the light sensor. Yeah, it's probably, I bet that's what happened because it did match up with that. Okay, let's take a look at this with the back of my phone, my back camera on my phone, and then I'll show you the one that I spotted on the bush behind this camera setup. Okay, cool. So one moment as I flip flop. All right, is that centered? Oops. Cool. All right, so here's our little friend. You can see those long front legs that are sticky. And, oops, sorry, my hand's shaky. That's the tricky thing with macro is that between the wind and between my hand, it's the wind blowing now. It's making our guest kind of shaky. So it'll use that stickiness. It has sticky glands on its front legs that help it catch its prey. Much like, are you guys familiar with a carnivorous plant that does the same thing to catch its prey? That also has sticky glands? Here, let me try to make this more steady, because I know the shakiness can be a little hard to watch. Okay, so I put our little friend right onto the plant, so it's a little more stable now. You can see that curved, hooked mouth part, which it uses to catch its prey. And scroll down. May the fourth tick be with you. Yes. Might skip the tick episode, JK, but they're a little gross. So yeah, I mean, it's totally fair to think of them as gross because they do. Oh, you can do it, little guy. It did it. You made it to the leaf. Yeah, the tick episode was requested. It's a hot topic, of course, because nobody wants ticks to bother them. They carry Lyme disease, and that's no fun. So our guest that day will be Dr. Ashley Kennedy, a tick expert who works in Delaware. And ticks is her job all day, every day. She goes and samples and surveys and identifies ticks. So, okay. Out of interest, do you know what bird is calling loudly out there? Let me listen. It might be a cardinal or a robin. I'll keep an eye out. That's a little hard for me to look. So the other, let's find the other one that I saw. Where was it? Okay. The other one that I saw, do you guys see it? The other one that has been undisturbed so far is right up here. Looks like it's covered in pollen. I wonder if that's an extra challenge for them in the springtime. Oh yes. Oh, sorry. I completely didn't finish that comment earlier. So I see the guesses for another carnivorous plant that also has stickiness. Venus flytraps are one guess, and what I'm thinking of are sundews. Are you guys familiar with the sundew carnivorous plant? The sundew plants are very similar in that they have sticky secretions. Here, let's zoom in. They have sticky secretions that help them catch their prey. So it's convergent evolution, a term that means they're not related to each other. It didn't evolve once, like all the same. It happened out of completely unrelated animals. Having the sticky substance to help catch prey was advantageous and just randomly occurred twice in different organisms, a plant and an animal, over time. I think it's completely covered in pollen, which is pretty funny and interesting. I wonder if it's affecting its ability to catch prey. So I am going to pluck off the leaf so we can get a closer look at it on the ground and a less shaky look. So actually, to do that, I'm going to put my phone back on the stand. They don't collect pollen, do they? No, they can't do anything with the pollen because it's solid, and they have to, since they have like a straw-like mouth, they need their food to be liquid. There are some predators like praying mantises that will eat pollen just because why not? It's nutritious, it's easy, low-hanging fruit that they can supplement with. But these ones, I don't know how they would be able to access it. So I'm going to take off that leaf and put it on the ground so you can see it in a more steady situation. And yes, honey sundews. I think I meant to say sundews if I said honeydew. My bad. Okay, Eddie said kids are asking how big the insects grow. They don't grow a lot bigger. They grow to be about um, like an inch, like maybe an inch long, about. And they do get wings. So these ones do not have wings. They overwinter as in their nymphal form, so without wings, and then they keep on growing in the springtime and then eventually molt and get wings. Okay, I'm gonna go get that. So enjoy the scenery for a moment while I pluck that leaf off. Okay. All right. So I have this one. I'm gonna put it on the ground here. And I'm gonna get the other one too. And maybe we can see if they interact with each other and what that looks like. Okay. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. All right. So I have them both here on the ground. Yeah. The men said earlier, bugs are so good at blending in until you learn how to spot them, then they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. even still, it's sometimes they still get you, which is fun. They don't. Uh, oh, honeydew is your error, not mine. Okay, cool. When she gets back, tell her an amazing insect just flew through. Haha. Okay, so we have our two friends here. They're actually slightly different colors too. They also look really pretty on the moss, but I really don't think it's a natural environment for them to be on the moss. But here, you can see it's a little alarmed by the camera presence, which makes sense. And I'll see how much I can zoom in too. There we go. So there's our little friend. Oh, and what I said on the last broadcast, but not this one, is how look at that. It's scrunched up. I think it's nervous. Camera shy, or just shy of a giant animal that's looming next to it. But yeah, look at how much pollen got stuck on its legs. So that's the proof that they're sticky. And it's interesting how its eyes are red. And its back has some cool coloration too. This is actually a specimen featured in my Backyard Bugs of Philadelphia book, an insect. I'll type the insect name into the chat too. So, whoops. Actually, the name for it is on a piece of paper that drifted away. But it's the pale green assassin bug. I'm very curious about how active they might be at nighttime because of those long legs and long antenna. The long antenna probably serve them well at nighttime as they reach around for different leaves. So, little friend, the pale green assassin bug. You can see the little wing pads too. I'll see if I can point them out with a piece of. So right there, back here. Oh, it just grabbed onto the thing. Look at that, it's very defensive. You can see that what looks like a needle, that's its mouth part there. So, very cute little critters. The other one walked away. I don't see where it walked to. It took advantage of the fact that I was looking at this one to make a run for it. Hi, Matthias. Mike says, I wonder if they taste like soft-shelled crab. Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I mean, they're arthropods too. They could taste like all sorts of different things. I wonder if they might taste bad or bitter because they do have toxins. They do have toxins. So I'll put the name, once the broadcast is over, I'll put the name of it into the chat for people who are curious to see. So that's our little guy whose secret weapon is sticky legs, sticky front legs. Oh yeah, and when they're first born, they don't have those glands yet, but their mom leaves some of the stickiness on the egg case. And so when they're first born, the first instars, the hatchlings, they take some of the stickiness from around the egg case and they put it on their arms. And that's what serves them until they do their first molt. And then they are able to produce it on their own. Then they have those glands as they grow older. It's like getting your driver's license or something, perhaps, but for this little bug. Hi, Terrence. Can you see okay now? Is the broadcast working okay for you? It's such a pretty little, I hope you guys can see it as well as I can, because it's such a pretty, the colors are really gorgeous on this insect. Okay, so, oops, throw my electronics over there. Haps is a little slow to switch from the back to front lens, I've noticed. So I might give that feedback to the team. It looks great. Oh, good. Yeah. So now I'm going to type in the name into the chat for those of you who are perhaps interested in looking it up later. Also, I'm going to capture this one so that I can photograph it later as well. It'd be nice to take some pictures with my DSLR camera. So sorry that I'm looking down right now and not looking up at the lens as I put it into the jar for back here so I can photograph it. Okay, so now I will type in the name into the chat, and if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, there we go. That's our insect of the week on the Bug Scope. So Zealous. The tricky thing about scientific names is that autocorrect is always against you and trying to change it to something else. Luridus. Zealous Luridus. Thanks for the appreciation award, too, Terrence. Cheers. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you for joining, Camila. And Brett, hello. Do these guys make any noises? Not, I don't think they do. So the answer is no, at least not that I'm aware of. Great question though. Yeah. Yeah. Assassin bugs are rather silent as far as I'm aware. Yeah, so next Tuesday at 6 p.m. we're gonna have a guest. It'll be our first guest from the Caribbean islands. Gavin Campbell will be joining us to chat about his PhD work in observing and studying temporary bodies of water in Jamaica. So come on by on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for that. Okay, another question here from Mike is how do they communicate then? And probably so they don't live communally, they're not social. And so the only times that they might need to communicate are when the male and the female find each other. So for courtship, to identify the other insect of the same species. So and especially with insects that are carnivorous, there can be an issue where if it doesn't recognize the other insect as its own species, it might eat it. And that's what happens sometimes with spiders, for example. Very frequently, a female spider will eat a male spider. It's famous with praying mantises, but it's like, as far as I know, way more prevalent of a thing in the spider world that a female will eat the male. And so I don't really know how they do it with this specific species. Like I haven't read information on it, but based on my general entomological knowledge, my guess is that they perhaps use visual cues and also chemical cues to identify each other. So, yes, thanks, Dave. It's also known as the pale green assassin bug. Yeah, it's a really beautiful green color. It's such a vibrant, bright, it almost looks like it's glowing sort of green. The kids are asking, are the insects related to the mantis? Yeah, great question, kids, because praying mantises also are very green and a beautiful bright green sometimes, and they eat bugs, other bugs too. You could totally call them an assassin bug, the way that they just tear up their prey, the way they grab them and just tear them all up. And they're not related to assassin bugs, other than that they're insects too. They're in different branches of the tree of life within the insect group. So they're both insects. So they're related in that way, but they're not very closely related. Praying mantises have chewing mouth parts where they chow down their prey, and these ones have pokey mouth parts where they stab into their prey and slurp up the juices. Abyss says, do insects show some kind of characteristic changes when they're mature enough to reproduce? When you say characteristic, you mean just like any character trait? So these ones, insects will molt into adulthood. So it is a very most of the time it is like they molt and voila, like they're an adult now. And when an insect molts, they oftentimes will go through a type of physiological change. So most of the time they'll have wings, and oftentimes colors do change as well, this is especially dramatic with the holometabolous insects, the ones that go through complete metamorphosis, like the beetles who go from a squishy white grub into an adult that's black or some other color with wings, or butterflies that go from caterpillars into their cocoons or chrysalises and then burst out from their chrysalises and have wings and they're completely transformed. Other insects, like praying mantises, and then also like these ones, are what we call hemimetabolists. So they go through incomplete metamorphosis, so it's not as dramatic, but there is a substantial difference between the nymphal stages, usually, most of the time, and pretty much all the time. But I can't say all because there's always an exception in the insect world. They keep us on our toes with irregularities and exceptions to the rules. But yeah, like these guys, once they're adults, they're gonna have a much tougher exoskeleton, and they're gonna have spikes on their body too, and wings as well, and not as slender. They'll be more because of the wings, the way that the wings will fold over. They need more space on their body, probably. That's probably why. Hi, Pablo. How's it going? Hope you're well. Thanks for the super heart. Thanks for the super hearts. Plural. Hi, D Money. How's it going? Hey, Jason. Thanks for reacting to the posts. Yeah. Yeah. And so because of that, like there's visual cues that are involved with that allow them to find each other as adults, and then chemical the role that chemicals play. Whoa, I just saw a bee fly into a hole in the house, which was pretty cool. I'm wondering whether to show you guys, because the bee might spend like an hour in there, or it might be in there for like 2 more seconds. You never know sometimes. Another bee there must be a bumblebee. There must be a bumblebee hive in the house, you guys. I don't know if you can hear my whisper, but I'm realizing there might be a bumblebee hive in. Another bee's flying in. Okay, there's definitely a bumblebee hive in the brick of the house here. So let's go look. Oops, you sent 2 hearts. Let's look at the bumblebee home. Oh my gosh, there's definitely a bumblebee home in the house. Hopefully more will come out to say hi. Do you guys see that bumblebee? So I saw in here, sorry, I need to like redo my nail polish or take it off. In here, a bumblebee flew in, and also in here. Tell it to buzz off. Good old bumblebees. Yeah, I hope another one comes in or comes out, but they might not do that with me standing here. So I wonder if looks like there's a bunch of little spots that the bees are hanging out in, but cool. Yay, and my hair is getting stuck in the branch. Our kids are running. No, you're safe. Don't worry. Yeah, good old bumblebees. Let it be. That's what I shall do. Mike says, when mRNA in humans give instructions to cells, how long do those instructions last? Are they transient? Sorry, I can't find an answer. Don't need to answer. Oh, is this a homework assignment or something? No. I do not know, but I appreciate your, I don't know, putting it out there. Okay. The med says they'll want to clean the pollen off the last insect. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. They would definitely use that pollen. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I don't see any more bumblebees going in or out of those holes. Otherwise, I'd show you that. But come on back on Tuesday. And then, oh, yes, one last note is that next Thursday, I will not be doing a bug scope unless I do a spontaneous one because I'm a panelist on an insect photography webinar for the Entomological Society of America. And it's a free webinar, open, you can register. We have 400 registrants already, and the more the merrier. So I'm going to drop a link to that for more information if you want more info into the into my HAPS profile if you guys are interested in insect photography. So great to see you too, Zach. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, kids, for your questions. Hey, the med. Thanks for joining. Bye, Pablo and Abyss and Mike. Take care. Bye, Matthias and Linda, and who else? Who else? Who else? D Money, if you're still here. Dave. Cheers. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, everybody. Thanks. Thanks, the med. Thanks, Knowledge. Take care, everybody. Enjoy spring. And if you see a cool bug, send me a picture. I'll talk about it on the next broadcast that I do from my computer. Because that way I'll be like, it's so great now. I can use the tools on HAPS to do that. So, yep. Oh, thanks, David. Good luck with the homework, kids. All right. Bye. One love, fam. Yep. Cheers.